let's get real. Some of y'all are cleaning house like you're hiding evidence from the FBI, right? We all know what it's like. That panicky moment when, for example, when your parents call, and you're at your first apartment and they're like, we're on our way over. And you're like, ah. And so, you clean the whole entire house. I remember going through this one specifically after my second divorce, when my ex would come over, because I was convinced that, it was only a matter of time before we got back together. I really believed in us. I'm I feel fortunate to not be in that place anymore, but back then I absolutely felt that way, and I didn't want anything to be out of place. I wanted the house to look like, wow, he's really doing a great job. I wanted to be a little bit, almost jealously wonderful, and you use the Febreze and you vacuum the floors, and you even do. We've talked about this before. I take not making the bed as something that is a sign of my freedom in the world. It's one of the things that I had to intentionally choose to do. But in this particular case, I'm making the bed. I'm yeah, all that kind of stuff. And I know some of y'all do that too. Some of us, and I don't happen to be this particular person, but I know some of y'all, every time anybody's coming over, you are cleaning, scouring the house. Okay, now here's the funny one. All right. How many of you, let's just be real, be honest, how many of you have to clean the house before the house cleaner comes over to clean the house? Because you wouldn't want the housekeeper to think you're a dirty, messy person. Think about it for a minute. I know some of you are like, shh, hush, leave me alone. What will my cleaning lady think if my house is a wreck? I'm kind of on the other side of the equation. I'm like, man, we should totally like trash the house so she has something she feels useful and needed. But why do we do that? Why do we, especially with certain specific people, take extra time to really, really clean up? Like I said, not from we want to make the house comfortable for them, not from all of that, but from our own personal guilt, our own feelings, our own stuff is completely and totally there. And like I said, to the extent that it's like we're trying to hide evidence. We're afraid that we're being raided. It's like those shows on TV, where when the cops break in the house, that's when they then are, trying to flush the things and, throw the things out and stuff like that, right? We live our lives that way. And unfortunately, we then run our businesses that way. We want the candles lit, the pillows with that one special karate chop in it. All the chairs arranged just perfect, and all the chairs around the kitchen table pushed in perfectly. Now, we've all seen it on social media, both sides of the equation. The person who their background is absolutely, completely immaculate. It's just like beyond perfect. And then there's the other side of the things where it's like, you could have flushed the toilet. We've seen those. But I don't really think deep down inside it's really about the house. I think more of it has to do with some early things that we dealt with, some situations in our life, stuff that makes us look at the tiniest imperfections, that hair that's out of space just a little bit, and you're like, oh man, I can't go on, or the fact that you're like, yeah, I shaved, but I should have shaved again right before I went live. All those kind of things. And they creep into our visibility. And we're going live, we're doing our posts, we're being in the world in that fear, in that already judged before we ever go out there state, versus wanting to make an impact, wanting to show up, being who we are. Because we ask not, how can I help today? But what are people going to think about me? We ask not, what does my ideal client need? But instead we ask, if I do this, am I going to be judged for it? Let me be honest with you. You're going to be, okay? Go live on YouTube, especially in the early days. When I was doing it, the only people I ever got on were people who were making crazy cuckoo comments, wanting me to say weird things, or you could tell them what they wanted you to say, that if you said it, they'd be like, you said, we need to clean the house because we want and need it cleaned, not from the guilt. And we need to be visible because, yes, somebody's waiting on you, but because you're special, you're important, and you're needed in the world. So my question for you today is, what's the funniest thing that people are coming over panic mode has caused you to do? What's your funniest emergency guess total house transformation behavior that you've done? I can't wait to hear from you. I hope that you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. And then until we're together again next time, you have an amazingly great week.